Good evening, you're watching News Today. I'm Preeti Chaudhary. Let me quickly take you through the headlines before we get down to our top story this evening. Dangal for justice intensifies after Bajrang Punia wrestler Vignesh Phogat returns her Arjuna Award and Khel Ratna. Prime Minister Modi commemorates a Veer Bal Divas event held at the Bharat Mandapam, says youth should work as a biggest force towards Vixit Bharat. India line split on prime ministerial face now after Mamata Banerjee proposed Mallikarjun Kharge's name. Sharad Pawar says there is no need for an opposition to have a prime ministerial face. Politics peaks over Ram Mandir invites after CPIM bigwigs to skip temple inaugural event. BJP says those who get a calling from Lord Ram will only come ultimately.
जो ऑर्गेनाइजर्स हैं उन्होंने सबको न्योता दिया है, लेकिन पहुंचेंगे वही जिन्हें राम ने बुलाया है.
Ahead of the coming Lok Sabha elections, BJP's big rejig in Pol Bengal. Amit Shah and JP Nadda lead Bengal BJP poll panel. West Bengal BJP chief and leader of opposition will be part of the 15-member panel. As counter-terror ops in Rajouri Poonch enter continues after Army Chief General Manoj Pandey, Raksha Mantri, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh will visit Rajouri on 27th December. Tamil Nadu flood politics escalates. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman reviews flood situation, chairs meeting with officials. The Stalin government seeks more funds from the centre. Political war of words erupts between the two. Centre issues advisory to all social media platforms to comply with IT rules in midst of growing concerns around deepfakes. A blast of some nature took place very close to the Israeli embassy in Delhi on Tuesday evening. A special cell team of the police along with a bomb squad is investigating the matter. Our top story, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's outreach to the Sikh community, a day after he reached out to the Christian community on Christmas yesterday. Today, he addressed an event to commemorate the sacrifice of Guru Gobind Singh's sons, where he urged the youth to join the movement to make India Vixit Bharat. This was also the theme in his speech made to the prominent members of the Christian community. Will his outreach work? That's the big question we'll discuss later.
Events in a span of 2 days. Prime Minister Narendra Modi makes a concerted effort in reaching out to minority communities. First, a celebration of Christmas at his official residence on Monday, where he met church leaders and eminent citizens from the Christian community.
Reverend Dr. Paul Swarup, your message, आपने environment पर एक message दिया.
क्रिसमस वो दिन है जब हम जीसस क्राइस्ट के जन्म को सेलिब्रेट करते हैं. ये उनकी लाइफ मैसेज और वैल्यूज को भी याद करने का अवसर है. जीसस ने करुणा और सेवा के मूल्यों को जिया है. उन्होंने एक ऐसा समाज बनाने के लिए काम किया जिसमें सबके लिए न्याय हो और जो समाज समावेशी हो, इंक्लूसिव हो.
The PM also recounted his meeting with Pope Francis. A day later, Prime Minister Modi was at an event to commemorate the martyrdom of Sahibzade, the sons of Sikh Guru Gobind Singh, who were killed by the Mughal forces.
माता गुजरी गुरु गोविंद सिंह जी और उनके चारों साहिबजादों की वीरता और आदर्श आज भी हर भारतीय को ताकत देते हैं.
The Modi government started observing December 26th as Veer Bal Divas in remembrance of the Sahibzade's bravery last year. This time, events are being held across world capitals, said Prime Minister Modi. At both events, there was an underlying theme, an invitation to join the journey to make India Vixit Bharat with particular focus on the youth.
आज भारत दुनिया के उन देशों में से हैं जो देश सबसे ज्यादा युवा देश है. इतना युवा तो भारत अपनी आजादी की लड़ाई के समय भी नहीं था. जब उस युवा शक्ति ने देश को आजादी दिलाई तो ये विशाल युवा शक्ति देश को जिस ऊंचाई पर ले जा सकती है वो कल्पना से भी परे है.
Modi's outreach to the minority communities comes just a month ahead of the Ram Mandir inauguration, but it is nothing new. The BJP, for instance, has been wooing the Pasmandan Muslims, the backward sections within the community. However, the Modi magic, which has shattered past caste equations to consolidate the Hindu vote, somehow hasn't worked on the minority communities. From Muslims to Christians to Sikhs, the BJP is struggling to win over the trust of India's biggest minorities. Will Modi's promise of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas, Sabka Prayas make a change? Bureau Report, India Today.
So what is the new mission of the Modi government? Well, Alp Sankhya Sneh Samvad. Is it working? The questions that we are posing right now for our panelists this evening. Will Modi's minority outreach work? Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Prayas. Slogan or reality? Do minorities fear majoritarianism, and does Hindutva have space for minorities? Will youth be receptive to the Prime Minister's message? Are questions that we're going to take to our panelists this evening. Let me quickly introduce our viewers to our panel. Salman Sauz, Congress spokesperson; Shehzad Poonawala, Bharatiya Janata Party spokesperson; Commander Harinder Sikka, retired, in the studio with us. He's an author. Major Muhammad Ali Shah, retired, an analyst. George Kalli Vayalil, associate editor; Deepika Daily, my colleague, senior editor; Harmeet Shah, in the studio with us. Shehzad, my first question that I want to come to you. We've seen a lot of optics as well. And, there is clearly a mission. Many months ago, it was a decision by the BJP, in what we are being told, in Alp Sankhya Sneh Samvad, to launch that. The question is, will it work? Because till now, if we just look at plain figures, it's not seeming to connect if you look at figures, and let me quote you some. Where the BJP MPs are concerned, Shehzad, 99% of them are still Hindus. Compare it to the Congress, 67% Hindus, 7.7% Muslims, 25% other minorities. If you look at the kind of support that the BJP has got, let's take it year by year, 2014, 2019, you've had just 8% of the support from Muslims. Christians, 2014, 7%, which rose to a nominal 11% in 2019. Sikhs, 2014 was a 16%, which came down to an 11% in 2019. So, is this just optics?
The fundamental premise that this outreach or this inclusion is being done for votes is where you start off by making a mistake, because that is what the Congress did for the last 60 years. They focused on Tushtikaran, trying to galvanize a vote bank by doing pretty much nothing. They gave them riots and poverty. On the other hand is the Prime Minister who says, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, whether you vote for us or you don't vote for us, if you are poor, if you are a deserving beneficiary, you will get it. And therefore, the Prime Minister's schemes have ensured that the female dropout rate amongst Muslims comes down from 70 to 30%. Is that optics or is that substantive? The Prime Minister's schemes, whether it's Nal Se Jal, whether it's Shauchalaya Yojana, whether it's Ration Yojana, whether it's Mudra Yojana, Jan Dhan Yojana, all of them have participation of over 50% of SC, ST, OBC minorities. Is that optics or is that substantive? Is it substantive when the number of scholarships in UPA 2 was 2.94 crores and NDA 1 was 3.14 crores? Is it optics when AMU budget was a paltry 673 crores in 2014 and today it is over 1200 crores? When the minority affairs budget is increased from 3000 odd crores to 5000 odd crores? This is when work is done. Whether the votes are coming or not coming is not the issue. What did the Congress do for the Muslims, by the way? Let me tell you, they gave them the Nelly riots, Jalgaon riots, Delhi riots. They gave them Hashimpura, Meerut, Malyana, where over 10,000 Muslims and Sikhs were slaughtered. By the way, they even gave patronage to the likes of Mr. Sajjan Kumar and Jagdish Taitla, whom they continue to protect even now. And as far as the Prime Minister is concerned, the Prime Minister is very clear. When he sends a toilet, whether it's Shilpa or Sultana, both get it. When ration is given, whether it's a Salman or it's a Siddharth, both get it. And this is the difference. They had a mindset of giving first right of resources to minorities, but they never ever work for minorities except for riots and except for poverty. And let me give you one interesting figure. In 2011 in Gujarat, the maximum, the literacy rate of the country, the national literacy rate was about 60-65%. It was Muslim literacy rate, which was 73% in Gujarat, and it was much lower than national average in West Bengal. In West Bengal, 25% are Muslims, but their participation in public sector undertakings was only 1.2% in the higher posts, whereas in Gujarat, 9% Muslims, 9% participation in higher posts in PSUs. This is walking the talk, unlike the Congress.
All right, you know, Shehzad, you're a man of numbers, clearly, and you've rattled out quite a few. Humor me now, if you'd allow me. When we spoke of forget about the vote share, you don't want to talk about the vote, understandable. Let's just really look at representation. If you walk the talk, you say you walk the talk on OBC representation, and yes, you do walk the talk on OBC representation. If you look at representation, I just told you 99% of your MPs are Hindus. And you compare it to the Congress, I did tell you, the figures there, 67 Hindus, 7.7 Muslims, 25% other communities. Let me also tell you where the funds for the Minority Affairs Ministry is concerned. I've picked it up from your own website. 22-23, it was 5,020.5 crores. It's come down 2,000 crores in 23-24. Now, minority funds underutilized, the estimate right now is 2,612.7 crores. Pre-metric scholarship for minorities slashed from 1,425 crores to 900 crores. Budget for education empowerment for minorities, which was 2,515 crores last year, reduced to 1,689 crores. Skill development Ustad, budget of mere 10 lakhs, the same was 235 crores the last year. Research scheme for minorities have been slashed to 20 crores from 41 crores. The total funds for various skill development livelihood schemes was 491 crores in 22-23 and now has been brought down to a mere 64.40 crores. There are a lot of other figures, so there are figures to support both arguments, Shehzad. That was what I was the point that I was trying to make. Having said that, yes, of course, do respond to it. Of course, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. You made a very interesting point. You said in the starting that we don't get votes, yet you want us to give representation to people who will pretty much lose their elections. If that is the case, one second.
Don't misquote. All I'm saying is don't misquote.
I am paraphrasing. In debates, you can...
Yeah, all I'm saying is that. Go ahead, sir.
May I continue?
Of course.
Madhya Pradesh has about 8 to 9% Muslims. So by logic, about 20 seats should be given to Muslims in Vidhan Sabha elections. Congress gave 2. In Gujarat, much before Modi came to the scene, in 1995 onwards, Congress has never given more than 10 seats to Muslims in Gujarat, whereas by population, they should be given 9% of 180, 10% of 180, 18 seats. The Congress party has not made a Muslim chief minister out of Jammu Kashmir from the year 1980s. Antule was perhaps the last one. So why is the Congress not communal? Why is only the BJP communal? By the way, BJP continued Asif Ibrahim, who was the IB chief. The first thing that a government changes is the IB chief. We had faith because we don't look at religion. We continued IB chief as Asif Ibrahim. We made Syed Akbaruddin the permanent representative. Mr. Hardeep Puri is a minority, is the cabinet minister. John Barlow is the MOS minister of state. There are Buddhist ministers. Aren't they minorities? For the first time, the NCM has a Sikh representation as the chief, which was not done in the last 40, 50 years. Why is that not considered? Are the only minorities Muslims?
Okay. But
what about Parsis? How many Parsi MPs does Congress have?
But sir, I'll tell you, allow me and I'll tell you.
How many homos are there as
I
MPs
will,
in
if
Congress
you allow
party?
me, you ask me for a figure and I will tell you. It's not just about Muslims, sir. And even if you talk about Muslims, then it'll be a little rich if you talk about representation where your party is concerned. But you ask me and I'll give you figures. Out of the number of percentage, this is a percentage, like I said, 99% Hindus in the BJP, where the Congress has 67 Hindus, 7.7 Muslims, 25% other communities, which includes 8% Sikhs, which includes 4.5% Jains, and so on and so forth. So it's a cumulative. The 25% is a cumulative of what you spoke of. Allow me to now expand the panel and get in Mr. Salman Soz into the conversation. Mr. Soz, I see you smiling away through this conversation, but let me also ask you, sir, in the last time Mr. Antony actually spoke, there was something called the Antony Report, and in which you yourself, by your own party colleague, was charged of appeasement, and maybe you should be thinking about the Hindus as much as you think about the minorities.
I'm a bit amused, but normally Shehzad has many good points and he's good with data. But sometimes, when you speak so fast, you forget certain things. He should not have said that in Jammu and Kashmir, Congress has never appointed a chief minister. When we had an opportunity, Mr. Ghulam Nabi Azad was the chief minister. It is sad that Mr. Azad has now joined, pretty much has become like the B team of the BJP now. But be that as it may, let me just add a few more data points.
And would you also care to answer the question I asked you, Mr. Soz?
I will. I just wanted to kind of take a leaf from your beginning, where you talked about some of the data. And I am an economist. I talk a little bit about data as well, and I'll address your question as well. You gave Shehzad a few minutes. Allow me a couple of minutes as well. You see, the reason we are talking about this today is because the Prime Minister met Christian community members yesterday, his outreach to the Sikh community today. And, frankly, when the leader of a country reaches out to other communities, minority communities, it's a good thing. I think we should welcome it. But the reason it is making news is that the Prime Minister is leading a Hindutva ideology in the country, which is basically a majoritarian ideology, and that is why it is making news, and that is why it is remarkable right now. Otherwise, we wouldn't be talking about this if this was normal. Now, but why does this surprise us so much? Why are we talking about it? And you're right. We can make as many kind of these events, and we can have symbolism, but the reality is something entirely different, like you pointed out. Now, let me share with you some data that you might find interesting. You talked about 99%, Hindus as BJP MPs. What about MLAs? Where are BJP's Muslim MLAs, for example? Nowhere. In no state is there a Muslim chief minister in this country. In 15 states, there is no Muslim minister. In 10 states, there is one minister. 10. So in 25 states, there is a maximum of one Muslim minister. And Muslims are what? About 15% of the population. Of course, we know underrepresentation of Muslims and other things. We know about that. Shehzad talked about, for example, Muslim, not minority scholarships going up. Minority, ministry receiving 5,000 crores now. It used to be 3,000 crores. But if the economy has grown, maybe doubled in this time, it's certainly not keeping pace with the size of the economy. No, that is, I'm just saying that the BJP can do whatever it wants. There is a reason that the Sikh community's vote share went down. There's a reason that the Christian and the Muslim community do not vote as much for the BJP. That is because their leaders.
Mr. Soz, even though you've not answered my question, but there's something with data. The data is not ideologically bound, and I'll give you some. Because I would reckon what is the biggest marker of security where our minorities are concerned. And I would think you and I would agree, and it would be if they feel safe in a country. Yes, sir?
But if the point is, how do you feel safe in a country? How do you feel safe?
I'm just going by data.
When in Parliament, one member of Parliament calls another member of parliament from a minority community.
Okay, that is a debate. That's a debate which we can have. But like I said, I asked you.
Can I use that word, or is that unparliamentary?
No, it is. It's okay. We're going to. It's a part of debate we'll get to. But because we were on a train of thought, let me complete it. One of the biggest markers of security for any minority community in a country is if they feel secure. And where data suggests, sir, and let's pull out some more, you look at communal riots in the country. 2017, 723 communal riots. 2018, 512 communal riots. 2019, 438 communal riots. 2020, 857 communal riots, which have been brought down in 2022 to 272 communal riots, sir. So if you do look at it, somewhere down the line, there is a sense of security where at least communal riots in this country are concerned.
Here is, Shehzad likes to show people, newspaper clippings and other things. The Christian community, until September of this year, faced 525 attacks. Mm-hmm. And this has been rising, by the way. And I have data again. There's a chart for Shehzad only. I do this only for Shehzad, nobody else, because I know he loves this. There's been an upward rise. Here's the chart. Upward rise in attacks on the Christian community from 2014
okay, Mr. Saws, you have a point. I'm going to open up the panel, but Shehzad also, wants to come in, and understandably. And the reason, Shehzad, is, there's merit in what Mr. Saws actually says, and we'll give out the figures where at least attacks on the Christian community is concerned. 2014, 147. 2015, 177. Let's look at the last 2 years of your government. 505. 595, and currently just from January to August, 525. Go ahead, Shehzad, answer, and we'll open our panel.
Preeti, because this entire narrative about attacks on Christians being linked somehow to the majority community was made, if you remember in 2015, when a nun was also raped, and then eventually it turned out that the rapist was a Bangladeshi. The moment it came out that it was a Bangladeshi, this entire Mandali, which was raising this issue, went silent for God knows what reason. I would also appreciate, and Times of India has done it, it's a rival publication, 2004 to 14, the number of attacks on Christians that have taken place in India were also there. Maybe you should juxtapose both of them, but having said that, that's not the issue. Now look at what Salman so said. By the way, Salman, I said any chief minister who's Muslim outside Jammu Kashmir, because Jammu Kashmir is Muslim dominated or Muslim bahul, so anyways there a Muslim will be made mostly by the parties, but I was talking about other states where Congress party has not made any chief minister. Now what Salman so says is that look, so many ministers were only Muslims in the entire country. Salman, in that case, if you see, Muslims are not homogeneous. There are Pasmanda Muslims who are 85% from 1952 to 2004. The representation of Muslims, by the way, was only 5 or 6% in parliament, despite population being 14%. But in that, Pasmanda representation was merely about 0.5%. So who has been usurping even the benefits in this entire community? It's people like you. And by the way, it's people like you who have gone and also batted for Afzal Guru and who go and bat for these elements. And then they say that they are taking up cause of minorities. Okay. Afzal Guru is not a cause of the minority. Saifuddin Soz, your father, had once said that Afzal Guru's human rights are being violated. This is when you confuse the rights of the community. By the way, Salman Soz, who gave Bharat Ratna to Ustad Bismillah Khan? Who named an island after Veer Abdul Hamid? Who was the one who named the road of Aurangzeb after APJ Abdul Kalam? Why weren't you doing all of these things in the last 70 years?
Shehzad, ask you? All right, 20 seconds because Shehzad wants to come in for, Mr. Saws wants to come in for a rebuttal. Allow him 20 seconds, and then may I please allow, please do allow me to open up the panel. The other guests have been waiting very patiently. 20 seconds, sir. Please respond.
I really don't want to get into a back and forth with Shehzad, but there was a time when Shehzad's mission in life was an RSS Mukt Bharat. And the reason is, and this is, by the way, Shehzad's words, not mine, and there must have been a reason, Preeti. And the reason, I think, is clear to him and to me and to all of us.
All right. Okay, maybe
RSS has a poisonous ideology that is bad for this country, and we are fighting it. And Shehzad has gone to the
Please allow me. Okay,
that's all there is.
All right. Okay, our political panel there. We'll just come back. We'll revisit it in just about 3 or 4 minutes. Let me just open it out. And what really do members of the community really feel at this point of time? Because is this what some say an attempt to assimilate, rather integrate? But let's take that question to our panelists. I have with me in the studio Commander Harinder Sikha, Major Muhammad Ali Shah is also with us, George Kali Vayalil, Associate Editor, and Harmeet Shah, senior editor, my colleague. Harmeet, let me begin with you. What's the perception today in the community? Because you have the Prime Minister who it's not just one token visit. Consistently over the last couple of years, he has made an effort to reach out, especially where the Sikh community is concerned.
I completely agree with you. It's a great initiative at the level of the state, where the state has gone to recognize something which has not been recognized over the past 300 plus years. So in that sense, I would say that it's a great initiative. You have Indian state commemorating the shahadat of the younger Sahibzadas and the elder Sahibzadas. That said, Preeti, you use the word assimilation. Now, if I see the nomenclature here, there is a perception within the Sikh community, and because I interact with the intellectual circles, and there is a strong perception, rather, I would say, that this nomenclature, Veer Bal Divas, appears to be reductionist, in the sense that every religion, every faith, every community has its own linguistic parlance and its own linguistic jargon. In Sikh community, we don't call the Sahibzadas Bal, we call them Babas. Babas because they embraced a sublime martyrdom at a younger age. So that's why they are called Babas, not Bal. And whether it was the SGPC or Sri Akal Takht Sahib and other top institutions and scholars, they raised this matter with the government that please change it to Shahidi Divas Chote Sahibzade or something on those lines.
So the perception that you're saying.
The perception, yes. The perception here is that this revisionism, okay. There is a sense of revisionism here that, in one way or the other, the distinct Sikh identity faces the risks of assimilation. So that said, that perception is very much there in the Sikh community, and I think the scholars, they have their own justification for that.
All right, okay. Well, it does somewhere down the line reflect, at least where the vote share was concerned. Shehzad doesn't want to talk to us about the vote share at this point of time. Most of the time, Shehzad, you'd be very happy to talk of the vote share. You're the one who told me, look at how much the OBCs voted for the BJP. But having said that, I want to bring in, Mr. Sikka, who's also with us. Do you also concur that possibly the attempt here, especially where the ideology comes into question, sir, is to assimilate rather than integrate, and there's a fine line, which is where your own cultural identity is concerned, that being overtaken by the larger cause of one, which has been the ideology, one nation, one country, which has been the ideology of the RSS?
You see, since 1947, we have been beaten up in one way or the other, killed, butchered. I have personally suffered 1984 like nobody's business, and we have seen some tremendously poor response from parties like Congress and how they dealt with us. It's a public secret, no secret. This is the time when a Prime Minister goes out of the way and commemorates and rejuvenates the light that he talks about Guru Gobind Singh ji. He talks about Nanak ji. He goes to Harimandir Sahib. He's made a Bal Divas. You want to read it in one faction, one matter or the other. It does not matter. He's talking about Char Sahibzadas. He's trying to revive the Sikh history. How many people, how many Sikhs know that 2 number Sahibzadas were cremated in Punjab, for which Todarmal ji paid the highest ever amount. These parts of facts have been removed intentionally over the period and the decades. Now, here's a government, here's a Prime Minister, and not only Prime Minister, in UP today, in Lucknow today, this Chief Minister also had held a function to commemorate, to remember, to honor martyrs, the Sahibzadas. This has not happened just like that. It's not happened for eyeballs.
It's genuine, yeah. It's more than optics is what you're saying. So, 2 very distinct points.
Now, you read the Farmers' Bill. We criticize, just read it with open eyes. You when you rattle out lies one after the other 100 times, the lies become truth. You ask the intelligentsia or you ask the people who are not so stupid and who are slightly more educated, they will praise what is being happening.
Okay.
It's
well,
just
it's interesting because there are two ways to look at it. Harmeet, do you concur?
I do concur partly, as I mentioned that, I mean, that, of course, it's a historic initiative. Right. At the same time, there are fears of assimilation, and there's also...
You made that clear.
So who created that fear and why? Who created this division? We are forgetting that Sam Petroda said over here, hua to hua, when mentioned about 84 rights. It was not rights, it was carnage, butchery. Now, under whose tenure this Sajjan get the life term? Who's trying to get us justice? We're forgetting it because we want to forget it.
But as you look at it, in terms of just support, where the community is, where the BJP comes into a question, it's dwindled. But having said that, two very distinct point of views and interesting point of views that one really needs to think of. And that's why we had both of them on the show. But also let me expand it a little more. George Kalli Vayalil, I apologize if I've got your surname wrong, sir, and I appreciate the patience. But George, what do you make of the outreach where the Christian community is concerned? It's not a first. It happened on Christmas. It also happened in April, where the Prime Minister on Easter had gone to the church himself. So at least, even if it is optics, you seem that there is a connect. But do you see a disconnect there? Because there seems to be an approach, maybe, where the community is concerned to build bridges in Kerala, but in places like Karnataka, in Chhattisgarh, or even in Manipur, churches are being burned and there are atrocities against the Christians. So it's a dichotomy of sorts.
Priti, I think you said it correctly. No, we welcome the Prime Minister's initiative. Whatever it be, a Prime Minister calling the Christian leaders for a lunch on a Christmas day is welcome. We welcome that. No doubt about it. Now, Prime Minister visited Sacred Heart Catholic Cathedral in the center of Delhi on the Easter day. No, he had a meeting with the top church leaders in Kerala, 8 leaders in Kerala in last April. He had when he took over the Prime Minister, he had a meeting. I was instrumental in organizing that meeting in the Vigyan Bhavan, where Prime Minister Modi came and spoke very clearly about the rights of Christianity and the services of Christianity to the nation. But, we need walk the talk. Just tokenism doesn't do good. There is a fear factor among the Christians in India that starts from Graham Staines or Father Stan Sami to so many other, from Kandamal to the attacks all over across country, across states. And it happens in many BJP ruled states, and many false cases are charged against Christians. Therefore, Christian community is in real fear of sidelining by the majority community or others. But what happens? The Prime Minister went to Vatican to invite our Holy Father Pope Francis. He invited him. He had a very good photo. But what happened after that? Pope wanted to visit India. Pope himself clearly said about it. I was in the Pope's delegation to Myanmar and Bangladesh. In his paper, that never happened. That never happened, not because of the inability of the Pope, but the politics of India, the RSS, or the Sangha Parivar never allowed it. I can say the 3 cardinals of Catholic Church, Cardinal Oswald Gracious, Cardinal George Arangeri, and Cardinal Clemis Catholicos, met Prime Minister in Delhi and requested all this. Nothing happened after that.
All right, but sir, may I ask you a follow-up question, because there is an election in order, and many political analysts are also along. Nobody is denying the fact that the Prime Minister has embarked on, on a mission to reach out to the minorities, and a lot of it is genuine, but it's also political. So therefore, the question that I ask you, where Kerala comes into play, do you see the outreach where Kerala Christians are concerned by the BJP, an attempt to also corner politically a vote share there? And do you agree that Kerala is ready for a switch? Because there are cardinals in Kerala who have come out and said that, going with the BJP could be a good option.
Really, Christians in Kerala, especially, and in India, always welcome Prime Minister's initiative because he is the head of the country. He is the Prime Minister of the country. But that doesn't mean that the entire vote will shift in a day or in few months. The next 2024 elections is not even 6 months away, or it will be in 4 or 5 months. That time, if they need change because Christian doesn't believe in any vote bank politics.
So you're saying it's work in progress, but you need to, as a community, see a lot more of not just the optics, but also walking the talk where it's concerned. All right.
Absolutely.
I'm just going to bring in Major Muhammad Ali Shah. Apologies, I'm coming to you last, but nowhere the least, sir. But what do you make? Because there is an attempt, even of course, where maybe representation you don't see where the Muslim community is concerned, but Shehzad's belted out enough numbers to suggest that this government is doing enough.
Okay, Preeti, firstly, thank you for having me on your show. And I would like to begin by saying that the best country for minorities in this world is India, actually. And I can vouch for that with conviction, where people are judged on their credibility, firstly. Secondly, I would like to talk about discrimination slightly. Discrimination is a part of human nature. But who are people who are discriminated against? Not the minorities, but the weaker section. The ones who are uneducated, the ones who are less educated. And it's a fact that many of the minorities are uneducated. When I say minorities, I don't say the Muslims only. I mean the Sikhs, the Parsis, the Buddhists. We are all minorities now. Now the very fact is the outreach by the Prime Minister is a very, very welcome step. When he came to power in 2014, he said, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vishwas, Sabka Sahyog. So the very fact is, he is a very well-meaning Prime Minister. He's a good leader. He has led the country in a very, very good way forward. I have a small suggestion that, you spoke about Manipur over here, Preeti. I've spent very good time in Manipur, in fact, so much to the fact that I speak the various other tribal dialects over there as well. Now, the very fact is, you spoke about the churches being burned in Manipur. Well, that is not a religious clash. It is an ethnic clash. They are Maite Christians as well.
Not true. Manipur is different, but so is Chhattisgarh. Then if you bring in Chhattisgarh, you bring in Karnataka, there has been religious violence as well. Go ahead, sir.
The cookies are Christians, yes. So are the Nagas, and they are Maite Christian as well. And the Maite Christians would be having names like Laishram Raju Singh or Rohan. And just yesterday, we had on Diwali, the Maite didn't celebrate Diwali. Yesterday on Christmas, the cookies did not celebrate Christmas. And here we were talking about how Christians in Gaza did not celebrate Christmas. We had our own people not celebrating their festivals as well. So now the very fact is the Prime Minister's outreach to the minorities is a very, very welcome step. I also have a small suggestion that even people from Manipur, be it the Maites, be it the cookies, should be reached out because those people are hurt. They are very... Yes.
No, fair enough. Because, what we have is a very, microcosm, a small example or a small group of what this country really represents. So, and you're right, your suggestions should be taken. But Shehzad's raising his finger. Quickly, Shehzad. Go ahead, sir.
Just a couple of points. One to Harmeet-ji. Harmeet-ji spoke about the identity of the Sikhs. One of my best friends is a Sikh. So I can tell you, Harmeet-ji, when was the last time you heard at a national state level that you would celebrate the Prakash Parv, or whether it is Guru Gobind Singh, Guru Nanak-ji, Guru Tegh Bahadur-ji? When was the last time you heard Kartarpur corridor was opened? When was the last time FCRA clearance was given to Harminder Sahib? When was the last time Langar was made tax-free? When was the last time that time and again Prime Minister has invited Sikh leaders to his house and he takes blessings from these leaders? So I think we must see it in complete perspective. As far as RSS bashing is concerned, I just want to ask Salman Soz, after 34 years in Salman's Jammu and Kashmir, because he comes from there, first time Muharram Tajia is going out from Srinagar. This is RSS Soch. Ghulam Ali Khatana, who comes from the Pahadi Samaj, from the Gujar Samaj, he has been given Rajya Sabha representation for the first time in 60 years. Why didn't Salman Soch do it? And RSS Soch is Soch that takes everyone together. What is Udaynidhi Stalin's Soch when he says Sanatan Samapti? when Mr. Khadge's son says that it is equivalent to a disease. Today, Mr. Swami Prasad Maurya has said that Hindu is a fake dharma. Okay. And you have also called Hindutva as like ISIS and Boko Haram. Salman Khurshid said this when the Supreme Court has said it's a way of life. Right. Is that not nafrat ki dukan? What is that? And Ramesh Bidudi, one last 10 seconds on Ramesh Bidudi. You know, Ramesh Bidudi, whatever statements he made in Parliament are most condemnable. In fact, Rajnath Singh ji condemned it. We issued him a show cause notice. Same statement that I am an Ugravadi and Mujahideen was made by Priyanka Kakkad on a TV show to me. I am a Muslim. What did these people say? After all, I am a Muslim. Did you stand up for me when she called me a terrorist only because of my religion? Where was Salman Soos? Where was Priyanka Vadra? Nobody opened their mouth. Nothing was done. Nothing was said. I am not condoning what Ramesh Bidudi has said. It is completely wrong. We have the guts to at least issue show cause notice to him. What action you have taken on people like Udaynidhi Stalin?
All right, okay. Now, there's also a little caveat in all of this, Shehzad, which comes from the fact that the RSS has not once, many a times over, spoken of what is the ideology of Akhand Bharat, and that's with assimilating, not integrating. And that could be the problem with minorities today, because they don't want to assimilate, they want to integrate, keep their identity alive and be a part of the country. But, okay, both, lots of people raising their, but Salman Soos do come in, and then we'll cut across to our other panelists. Go, sir.
I don't know why Shehzad got so riled up about the RSS. In fact, he's the one who wanted an RSS Mukt Bharat. That means India without RSS. And there must have been certain reasons for that. And I was reminding Shehzad that there was a time, not so far back, when he really wanted to go after the RSS. He held symposiums. He tried to have these activities, and which I thought was very good, which is exactly the way it should be. Okay. But somehow now he seems to have become an RSS Bhakt. I don't know what the reason is for that transformation. Be that as it may,
you're both going after each other. May I take it away from the both of you? You both, okay, Mr. Soos,
just one very quick point.
Just one line.
Okay, both. I'll allow both. Mr. Soos, you finish first, then I'll allow Shehzad, and then I'll go to our other two guests who want to quickly add in, because you did pose a question to Harmeet, and he's quite keen to answer. Go ahead, Mr. Soos, make your point.
So just on this point of assimilation, I think there is a genuine fear of marginalization among all minorities. This is not about Muslims or Christians or Sikhs. Everybody's concerned. And the reason they're concerned is because of what they see has happened in these 10 years. India has changed dramatically. India has transformed, perhaps not in the way that we had hoped for, not in the way that I'd hoped for, but in a way that is putting fear in the hearts and minds of minorities in India. And I don't think any kind of symbolism is going to work. You've got to do substantive work. Otherwise, you're not going to get support from the minorities. That's what I think.
All right. Okay, Shehzad, make your point.
You know, there was once upon a time that the Congress labeled DMK as the killers of Rajiv Gandhi. Today, they are in alliance with the DMK. They said UP 27 saal, UP Behal, they are in alliance with Samajwadi Party. Samajwadi Party called them a dhokebaz, they are in alliance with Samajwadi Party today. So I think my personal history should be left out of this debate, and I have only one question for Salman Soos. In 1984, the riots that took place, the genocide that took place, 2018, Delhi High Court said political patronage was provided to the likes of Sanjan Kumar. What is your view on that? Why do you defend Jagdish Titler even today?
You know, that's, again, you asked him a question, I have to go back to him. Yes, Mr. Soos, 10 seconds, then I'll go back to our panelists. What do you have to say about Mr. Sanjan Kumar?
The senior leadership of the Congress Party, Sonia Gandhi ji, the Prime Minister of this country, Manmohan Singh ji, both of them have spoken about this. Everybody in the country knows it, and there's a reason why the people of Punjab keep voting for the Congress whenever they get an opportunity. I'm sure
not the last time around, sir. Not the last time around. That didn't go according to plan the last time around. But having said that, okay, Mr. Harmeet, go ahead, make your point. Lots of questions were asked by...
Too many things piled up. First of all, that 1984, that Sajjan Kumar judgment, in the same judgment, the honorable judges called for, enactment of a law that should govern genocide and that should govern crimes against humanity, which didn't happen. That's the first thing. Secondly, yes, of course, this Veer Bal Divas is the first event of its kind, and I said it, that it's a great move. So is the Kartarpur corridor, but that's not the only first thing that has happened in terms of outreach towards the Sikhs. In 1969, when Guru Nanak Sahib's 500th Prakash Purab was being celebrated, it was celebrated at the state level. In 1975, I was 1 year old, and I can say it with certainty that then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi visited Sikh Sahib and listened to the kirtan that was being done by one of the most honorable Ragis, Professor Darshan Singh there. So it's not that everything is happening for the first time here. Now, where is the fear of assimilation? If I'm not talking about the top BJP leadership, I'm talking about the overall ecosystem here. If today there is a protest, say today there is a farm protest, it happens again. Will that ecosystem not get activated and start labeling those protesters as Khalistanis, separatists, and worse, terrorists, because we make no distinction who is a Khalistani, who is a separatist, and who is a terrorist? That's there is a very much the possibility does exist that the same thing will be repeated again. That's the fear. So far as the distinct identity of the Sikhs is concerned, it's very well defined by the Gurus on page, we don't call it page, we call it Ang. 1136 of Guru Granth Sahib is clearly mentioned. Okay. Naam Hindu, Naam Musalman, Allah Ram ke Pind Paran. So there is an ecosystem that seeks to define the Sikhs, which is not good.
All right, Mr. Sikka, you wanted to come in. So please go ahead, and may I be allowed to close the show after that? Go ahead.
From Guru Nanak to Guru Gobind Singh Ji, they were all born to Hindu families. Let me make it very clear. And Guru Gobind Singh Ji said, De Shiva Var Mohe Ahe. So he did not create a difference. Guru Tegh Bahadur fought for Kashmiri Pandits martyred. So there is no difference. Come to Guru Granth Sahib, which he mentioned. Entire Guru Granth Sahib, besides the six Gurus, there are 40 and more Pandits, Bhatts and others who contributed. Who was the majority thereafter contributing in Guru Granth Sahib? The Hindus or so-called Hindus. Third thing, when you use the word Hindu Sikh, you are creating a divide. When we were born to that family, and every Hindu family gave first a child, my forefathers were Hindus. Or you name me any one Sikh whose forefathers were not Hindus. This, by the time, repeatedly you carry out. So another thing, who created this low caste and high caste? Congress. They're not supposed to be one scheduled caste in Sikhs. But Bhutta Singh was made as a scheduled caste, and therefore the sect started.
It's interesting because there's clearly a diverse opinion, and that's what debate is all about. I appreciate all our guests for joining us. Mr. Shah, apologies, we've run out of time. Thank you, Shehzad. Thank you, Salman. Thank you, George and Harmeet and Commander Sikka. Thank you all for joining us. It's a conversation which is going to carry on, especially in the time that we live in, especially when we are less than 6 months away from general elections. And every vote matters, the minority or majority. Now, what was a rare occurrence, villagers of Uttar Pradesh's Pilibhit were in for a bit of a surprise after a tiger wandered into a local Gurudwara. Forest officials were quick to react. The tiger was tranquilized and taken away to safety, but there was a bit of drama in between. Here's more.
People of Atkona village in Pilibhit on Tuesday woke up to a sight for a lifetime, a tiger among them. This video of the tiger sitting on the compound wall of a Gurudwara in the village has gone viral. It had strayed into the village 20 kilometers from its territory in the Pilibhit Tiger Reserve sometime on Monday night. The big cat was spotted at 4 a.m. on Tuesday by villagers who alerted the forest officials. The forest officials put up nets, forming a cordon. As word spread, a massive crowd gathered, drawn by the unusual sight.
बाघ मुझसे भाई के पड़ोस में घर में घुस गया, वहां से इधर आया, इधर से हमने दोबारा करा, डंडे मारे इधर से, बीच दीवार है हमारी साझी दोनों भाइयों की, उस दीवार के ऊपर आके रात में बाघ बैठ गया, रात से रखवाई कर रहे हैं, पूरी रात हो गई हमें 2 बजे से.
The tiger kept its cool despite the halabaloo, watching the commotion calmly until it was tranquilized around noon.
हम इसका जांच करके जो नियमानुसार कार्रवाई होगी हम करेंगे, इसको यहाँ से सुरक्षित यहाँ से लेके जाएंगे और हमारी कोशिश ये है कि किसी को भी जान माल की हानि ना हो. सबसे पहले हम भीड़ पर नियंत्रण कर रहे हैं, जब भीड़ यहाँ से थोड़ी हट जाएगी उसके बाद हम कार्रवाई कर सकते हैं.
The captured tiger will be given medical treatment and released into the forest soon. Bureau Report, India Today.
Well, at least in this, all's well that ends well, but raising a lot of questions where man and animal conflict come into question.